Hello, everyone. Welcome to week number 7. This is a really important week this week. So I will be describing what you need to do in just a minute. My apologies for my voice. I've had a terrible cold or some kind of viral infection since Tuesday, and this is Sunday. And so, yeah, I've been fighting it off all week. But anyway, let's get going. See what we've got happening here. Quick review of last week. You wrote about asexual reproduction and the pros and cons of it. So, for example, bacteria do asexual reproduction, they just divide in half. And then you talked about sexual reproduction, pros and cons of it. It takes a whole lot more energy to do sexual reproduction. If you're a female, you're allowing a male to contribute half of his genes to your offspring, but you're doing that in the hopes of providing diversity in your offspring, and hopefully more of them will survive. We learned about heredity. You talked about nature versus nurture, which is a terribly interesting topic. And you learned some more about biodiversity, and since most of you are environmental scientists, I'm sure that you are interested in that. So this week is all about ecology, which has to do with most of your topics, ecology and ecosystems. Take a look at those two chapters, 44 and 46, in your textbook. I may have to get some water in a second. In your textbook, because this is all about ecology, the study of ecosystems and organisms there. And then ecosystems. So an ecosystem is the whole community of organisms plus the abiotic factors, the climate, the soil, the water source, minerals present, and you can include things like pollutants if that's one of your issues. So do take a look at those chapters, read through the Module 7 overview, and watch the video. And I have another one here on the red tides in Florida, which seems to be more and more of a problem around the country and around the globe. This has to do with climate change. So take a look at that. If you ever do see an algal bloom on a pond, lake, whatever, don't go in the water, and don't let your dogs or other animals, or especially children, go into the water. And I don't mean into the algal bloom. Just don't go into the water, period, if you see an algal bloom on the pond or lake. Because these nasty little boogers can make some horrific toxins, including neurotoxins. So be warned of that. The discussion board postings this week are optional, which is kind of interesting, but post, and I'll be posting too. The topic is eutrophication. So this is a natural aging process of especially inland bodies of water like ponds and lakes, and how this happens. You'll also discuss the phosphorus cycle, because we don't make new phosphorus in any way. We recycle it a lot in the environment and through fertilizers and that kind of thing. Wastes, and also energy and nutrient flow through ecosystems. But those are optional because the focus this week is your final project. And I want to emphasize to you how much this counts toward your final grade. 260 points out of 1,000 is this project. That is more than a quarter of your final grade has to do with this final project. So please put the effort into this. I asked you last week if I even got through that far in the presentation. I asked you last week to start working on it, and that was one of your assignments in your learning module. So your final project, slides, right? Not essays, slides. PowerPoint, Canva, Prezi, Keynote, Google Slides. I've seen all different kinds of slides. It really does not matter. Just make slides like you're making a presentation. So, of course, you're presenting it to me. But anyway, you're making a presentation on your particular topic. Speaker's notes go at the bottom of the slides. All right, I'm going to see if I can do this right now. I have no idea if this is going to work. So what you do, there's a line at the bottom of your slide if you're in PowerPoint, and in, I think, Google Slides too, and I'm not sure about the others. And you just put your cursor on it and lift up, and you see what happens. You see that line at the bottom? That's where you write your speaker's notes. The speaker's notes are there. No one can see them but you, the speaker, but they help to remind you what to say about each one of your slides. And so they're in much more detail than what is on the slide itself. Do not put all the information on your slides. Can you imagine how boring that would be? I'm just saying. And boy, I've seen some too. Woo! You can't put all the information on the slides. You have to just put bullet points or a graphic or something. And then in the speaker's notes, this is where you're describing what you would say to your audience. So you need to include speaker's notes. Do not put all the information on the slides themselves, because the slides are what you're showing your audience. Include all 3 of the milestones, not just milestone 3. 1, 2, and 3. And you've had all of these graded by now. So you can go in and revise them, because you have my feedback now on all of them. And believe me, I'm going to go back and look to see that you fixed everything when I'm grading those final projects. And so I've got corrections there. Look at your graded rubrics, especially that overall feedback box for each of those milestones, because I tell you what you need to fix and how you need to fix it. Include imagery of some type, graphics, color. Now, I don't mean craziness, right? It needs to be tasteful and impactful. So if your topic is microplastics, if you put a picture on a slide of those gigantic floating plastic ecosystems that are out there in the ocean that just take up acres and acres and acres of space, that will make a very big impact on your audience. So graphics, photos, data, statistics. If you're talking about climate change, okay, you've got to have some data and some statistics to show how climate has changed over time. So make your slides impactful. Like I said, you basically put some bullet points. You can put them over to the side and put a very nice picture on your slide. A lot of people will just put a picture, and then in the speaker's notes, that's where you explain what you're talking about. So make your slides impactful. In the instructions, it says 15 to 20 slides. Where does that come from? Your sections. So your introduction from milestone 1 slide. Then under topic, you got, what came next? Where does it happen? That's a slide. How does it happen? That's a slide. Who does it affect? Who does it benefit? That's a slide. You see what I'm saying? So each of those sections is a slide, and you need to label your headings. If I have to guess what you're talking about, which section you're fulfilling on a slide, I may not guess correctly. And that happens. I'm telling you. So label your sections. And use the section labels that are in your milestones. So Roman numeral 1 is introduction. Put that on the slide at the top. Roman numeral 2 is topic. The first subheading is where. That should be on the second slide. You can have a picture slide in there too. That's where you get the up to 20 slides. So label, label, label. Go back and take a look at them. Make sure you include speaker's notes on every one of the slides so that I know that you understand what your topic is and what you're explaining to your audience. If you don't know how to use PowerPoint or you're not sure what you're doing, please just ask me. I have made a bazillion PowerPoint presentations. So just let me know, okay? I'm glad to help you. And with that being said, that's how you ask me, m.sigmon@snhu.edu, and I will try to answer you as quickly as possible. One other thing I want to remind you about, because the deadline on this course is coming up fairly soon, everything has to be turned in by Sunday, March the 3rd, before midnight. After that, you cannot upload. After that, I cannot upload. I can grade for a couple of days, but that's it. I mean, you can't send me the file and me put it in. It doesn't work like that. You have to have everything in by March the 3rd. If you're looking at maybe getting an incomplete, one thing that you should know about that is that you have to have completed 70% of the work in the course successfully before you can even request an incomplete grade, which basically gives you another month to finish up your work. So if you come in and you've done 2 weeks worth of work and you ask me to submit an incomplete request, I cannot check off the box that says that you've completed 70% of your work successfully. And guess what will happen then? The registrar says, nope, that's not going to work. So if you're interested in maybe taking an incomplete, please get in touch with me as quickly as possible so we can see whether this might be a possibility. All right, I hope that you have a wonderful week finishing up your topic. We've got a few more things next week, but it'll be a little bit calmer next week. If you need anything, please let me know. m.sigmon@snhu.edu, and I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I hope that I get better really fast, okay? Have a good week.